Imagine a world where buying a simple smartphone, a car, or even your morning coffee suddenly costs 30% more. Not because of inflation, but because the global economy itself is splitting in two. Sound far-fetched? It's happening right now, and America is at the very heart of it. Today, we re-digging deep into the trade war launched by President Trump that is forcing countries to pick sides, with global consequences that could reshape the 21st century. Stay with me, because if you want to understand where your wallet, your job, and even your country could be headed, you don't want to miss this. And if you're passionate about staying informed in these crazy times, smash that like button and let's keep this conversation alive. So how did the world get dragged back into an economic battlefield? It started just weeks after Trump returned to office in January 2025. He didn't just revive old trade tensions, he supercharged them. Within days, Trump imposed a 60% tariff on all Chinese imports, a 35% tariff on Mexican goods, and a shocking 25% tariff even on European products like cars, machinery, and wine. His message was simple: America will no longer be the world's piggy bank. At first, it sounded like political theater. Markets wobbled, pundits argued. But then the retaliation began, and it got very real, very fast. China responded by slapping 70% tariffs on US tech exports and agricultural goods. Mexico placed heavy taxes on American cars and machinery. The European Union hit back with mirror tariffs and started negotiating new trade blocs without the United States. And suddenly, global supply chains that took decades to build are unraveling almost overnight. Now, here's the question you might be asking. Is this just another round of tough talk? Or is the global economy truly splitting into rival camps? The signs are hard to ignore. Just this past week, China announced an exclusive trade pact with Russia, Brazil, South Africa, and Iran, locking out American companies. Europe accelerated a new Euro-Pacific trade corridor with Japan, South Korea, and Australia, cutting American firms out of the deal. India, previously bouncing between Washington and Beijing, is now leaning toward a non-aligned economy strategy, effectively picking neither side. Meanwhile, US businesses are struggling to adjust. Major companies like Apple, Tesla, and Caterpillar have issued urgent warnings to investors that tariffs are significantly increasing operational costs and creating uncertainty about future market access. One analyst from Goldman Sachs described it this way last Friday: "We re-witnessing the de-globalization of supply chains, a rewiring of the global economy around political fault lines rather than efficiency or profit." Sounds dramatic? It is. But it's also happening right before our eyes. Now here's a curveball for you. You might think American voters would be furious about rising prices and economic uncertainty. But according to a new Quinnipiac poll released 3 days ago, 56% of American voters support Trump's aggressive trade tactics, believing it's necessary to protect American jobs and industries. That's a major shift from 2018 or 2019 when trade wars were deeply unpopular. This time, voters seem more willing to endure short-term pain for what they believe could be long-term economic sovereignty. Still, there's a catch. Experts warn that the longer the trade wars drag on, the more likely it is that inflation could spike even higher. Recession risks will rise. Strategic industries like tech and healthcare could fracture into isolated economic islands that limit innovation. And here's something most people aren't even thinking about yet. Military tensions often follow economic splits. If nations are economically isolated into rival blocs, political and military alliances could soon harden as well. It's not just about money. It's about power, influence, and control. In fact, just yesterday, US intelligence sources leaked concerns that China and Russia might form a new security pact to protect their mutual economic interests, a move that would fundamentally challenge the American-led world order established after World War II. Kinda makes you rethink that extra $10 you'll be paying for a box of cereal, doesn't it? Now, in the middle of all this chaos, Trump remains defiant. Speaking at a rally in Ohio 2 nights ago, he told a roaring crowd, "We're bringing jobs back. We're ending the sellout of American factories. And we're showing the world that America will never again kneel to globalists." Powerful words. But will they translate into long-term victory or unintended isolation? And let's be real, history isn't exactly reassuring here. Trade wars during the 1930s, remember the infamous Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act, were a major factor in deepening the Great Depression and eventually laying the groundwork for World War II. Could today's aggressive tariffs spark a similar cycle of economic and geopolitical instability? Or will Trump's bold moves finally realign the global system to America's advantage? Before we wrap up, let's ask the real question that nobody in Washington seems to have a straight answer for. Are we rebuilding American greatness or burning the bridges we'll desperately need tomorrow? I'd love to hear what you think. So drop your thoughts below, smash that like button if you appreciate real talk, and make sure to subscribe if you want to keep digging deeper into the biggest stories shaping our world. Stay informed, stay sharp, stay questioning.